Arman Tsarukyan versus Matt Frevola, and this fight came together in relatively short notice and very unfortunate circumstances for both guys. So Matt Frevola, his opponent Arman goes out there and pulls the stupidest shit you could absolutely pull. Tries to sneak in a couple of his goons, if that's what you want to call them. Like he cuts off his wristbands and gives them to these guys, and they sneak in. They even like scale from balcony to balcony to eventually get to his room, and apparently drop off some sort of bag. What's inside the bag, nobody knows yet, and that's my main question going into this event. But so obviously UFC brings down the hammer on him. They cut him right away. They're not dealing with that type of bullshit, especially when they're going through this whole COVID-19 thing and they're trying to maintain this bubble, which is the UFC fight island they got out there, and then. Yeah, just very stupid on Arman Azatar's side there. So he gets cut from the UFC, and luckily for Matt Frevola, Arman Tsarukyan's opponent as well, too, Nasrat Hakparast, fails to make the scales, apparently falls very ill, and the commissioner ends up saying that he's not able to go out there and compete. So luckily for Frevola and Tsarukyan, they're still able to go out there and compete against each other as they're in the same weight class. Even though Tsarukyan did initially miss weight by 3 pounds, he did come back an hour later and did miss weight only by 1 pound. But still, the fight's on, ready to go. At most, we got Tsarukyan, who's going to be forfeiting 20% of his purse over to Matt Frevola. So you better believe he's going to be fighting his ass off to at least keep whatever is left of his purse. Now, how these guys match up normally. The interesting thing I find about this is in both of their initial matchups, I picked against them. Like I picked Matt Frevola to get knocked out in the first round, and I picked Nasrat Hakparast to go out there and either win a decision against Tsarukyan or knock him out as well. But these guys match up completely differently now. They're going up against each other in a grappler versus grappler sense. I give the slight advantage in terms of the striking to my guy Arman Tsarukyan here, as I believe he shows a little bit more diversity with his strikes, whereas Matt Frevola is kind of just throwing hammers with his hands, and that's really about it. I got to give the durability to Arman Tsarukyan as well too, as I believe he could be very live in terms of finishing Matt Frevola here and truly coming through for a lot of people that are going out to bet him. Now, the issue that I have is the fact that in terms of betting odds, we're getting him at minus 600. And in my opinion, that's a little bit too high. Mixed in the fact that he went out there and missed weight, who knows how much of an issue that could potentially have for him if this fight does get extended into that third round. Like I said, even in my breakdown against Nasrat Hakparast, I said that I do believe that Arman has a little bit of a cardio issue, and obviously this weight cut doesn't help that. So it could definitely be a detriment to him here. In terms of DraftKings, I believe he's still going to be around that 89-100 range. I do want to pull it up real quick before I actually talk out of my ass. But I do think that he has a solid chance of living up to that number, as I do believe he has a good chance of going out there and knocking out Matt Frevola. In terms of Tsarukyan, let me see here. We got edit entries. Come on. Why isn't this loading enough for me real quick? I should have had this ready to go, so I apologize, guys. But I wanted to get into this right as soon as possible so I can give you guys this information. All right, here we go. We got we got Arman Tsarukyan coming in at minus 8,900. So obviously he keeps his range there. And then we got Matt Frevola coming in at 7,400. I think Tsarukyan is live for a knockout here. Again, I do believe that Matt Frevola has some chin issues and some durability issues. And I truly think that even though he has a wrestling background of his own, he's going to get out wrestled here by Arman. And I say that as... I do believe that both these guys are going to engage in that grappling realm, which is where Arman should be able to get the better of it, just as we saw in his fight against Islam Makhachev, where he went pretty much takedown for takedown with one of the best guys in that division. So he showed he could really definitely deserves to be there. And I think he's very live for a finish here too. I think he can go out there and knock out Matt Frevola nice and early. But again, even if this fight does get extended, we could see him land takedowns. We could see him land the better of the strikes too, possibly even throwing in a couple knockdowns as well too, which could definitely help us out. So I'll go with the Arman Tsarukyan side. In terms of betting wise, minus 600, a little bit too much for me. I'll stay off of that. But in terms of on DraftKings, I think he could definitely score pretty high here. The only kind of flaw that I see is the fact that he missed weight and it could potentially play, against him the later that this fight goes. But I do think he can get it done early, probably first or second round, a ground and pound or something like that. But yeah, I like Arman here. The weight cut is a little bit of a concern, but DraftKings, I think he's safe to play. In terms of betting minus 600-ish, I think it's a little bit of a pass there. So I'll go with Arman Tsarukyan to win this by either first or second round KO.